Well, hi, everyone. Welcome to the Happy Wife School Show. It's good to be here with you all today. I missed you the last couple of weeks where I had a really bad case of the flu. I've still got a little bit of a lingering cough, so I've got my throat lozenges ready and my water ready, and hoping that it doesn't interfere. But thank you guys so much for your well wishes the last 2 Saturdays. That's the first time in almost 2.5 years that I've had to reschedule lives. So I thought that was pretty good. But it's really good to be back today. I'm excited for our topic and the depth that it will take us today. That's why I'm a little behind. So thank you for your patience because we hit something in our planning that required to take a little more time to really expand on. That's going to be a really important concept that we discussed today around respect. So I'll take a look at the chat in a moment. Hopefully you guys can hear me, see me. Everything's coming through okay. It looks on my end as it is, but I will check that in a moment. Before we get into the topic, as always, I've got a couple of announcements. First, please check out the Happy Wife School Show on Spotify and Apple. And please check out my colleague Josie's YouTube channel, The Autoimmune Expert. So if you or a family member struggles from autoimmune or a chronic illness, and you are frustrated with the Western medicine or alternative medicine programs of symptom management, and you want to learn how to permanently heal an autoimmune disease or chronic illness without supplements or food diets or mind-body interventions or medications, you want to go check out Josie, the autoimmune expert. You can also find a link to schedule a free consultation with her in the description below. And you can also find a link to her free Autoimmune 101 course, which I highly recommend signing up for and watching. Also, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing so that you don't miss the wonderful content I have to help you in your marriage. And please like this video so that it helps the algorithm on YouTube to get the message out to more people. With that being said, I'm going to check the chat real quick, and then we're going to dive into our topic and get going. So thank you, Phil. Phil says loud and clear. And of course, a big thank you to Steve and Phil, our moderators. I see you guys have like a new badge that looks very official next to your names. I like that. Phil and Steve are incredible and have been moderators for the last couple of years on the Happy Wife School channel. And I so appreciate it. And they have been so flexible and understanding the last 2 weeks where I would email them last minute of it's not going to happen today. I was sure I'd be back last week, but man, whatever's going around is kind of some icky stuff. So be well. Nice to see everyone here today. Mike 88GT, great to have you. I know I saw a few ladies in the chat. I think Monica and Colleen. Big shout out to the women who show up for the Saturday live. Stephanie, I don't see your name, but you're usually here, so great to have you. And to all those that show up every Saturday, thanks for being here. And get a couple more coughs out, and let's dive into the topic of why your wife disrespects you. And this topic was actually inspired by a question. And so we're going to start out with how the show is going to go today. We're going to start out, I'm going to read the question and answer the question. And then we are going to get into the why of as women, why we disrespect our husbands. And then we're going to actually look at and define what respect actually is. And then we're going to get into 7 surefire ways your marriage is headed toward divorce. And this list is going to highlight 7 prominent ways as women and wives that we disrespect our husbands. So hang around for that. That's going to be a really eye-opening list, and excited to get into that. So first, let me read the question let me read the question I got, and we're going to go there first. So the question is kind of a question, kind of a statement. We're turning it into a question. But I told my husband that I think some random men are cute. I don't want anything outside of my marriage. However, he says he doesn't want me looking at other men. But I don't understand why it's a problem if I don't want them. So first, just thank you to the woman who sent this question in, and good for you to want to explore it and try to figure this out. And in a kind way, this is not a difficult question. This is not a difficult circumstance in your marriage to come up to understand. It's a matter of respect. First of all, just marriage 101 for both men or women, in spite of our humanness and human temptation, it is not appropriate to be looking at other attractive people when you have committed and made vows to a person in a marriage. It is something that we need to have the character and integrity to blind ourselves and look the other direction when we see someone that we might consider attractive. So this really isn't a difficult question. This is just a matter of respect. It's disrespectful to continue to look at other attractive men when his request is reasonable, that he doesn't want you looking at other men. Of course not. And then telling him, not to even mention that in the very first place, telling your husband that you find some other men attractive, and it sounds like, based on the question, kind of pointing them out to him, or he might know who they are. That's very disrespectful, as it makes a man feel inadequate, just as it would make us feel inadequate and not enough if our husbands were telling us about other women that they think are attractive. If you just flip the script, no person, woman or man, likes their spouse looking at other attractive people. So it's kind of like, how would you like it if the tables were turned? And it's the foundation of this question shows you that you disrespect your husband, and that's the real issue. The symptom of the disrespect is looking at other attractive men and then telling your husband about it. And so I want to share a little bit about what I have learned for myself in my own marriage. This really boils down to a matter of integrity and character. That, of course, in our humanness as women or men, of course, we find other people physically attractive. That's just part of our human makeup. But as adults and being human, we have the ability to be in control of that human trait when we are married in a committed relationship where we took vows. And a wonderful way to think about character and integrity, wonderful way to think about character and integrity is, who do I want to be when no one is looking? Who do I want to be when no one is looking? So as a married woman, I have a very strong boundary that if I see an attractive man, I look down, I look away, and I don't entertain that thought. And what helps me is to think about, what if Adam, my husband, what if Adam could see my thoughts right now, or see me? How would that make him feel? And that's a commitment I've made to myself as a married woman, because it's one of respect and it makes me feel good about myself, that I hold myself to that standard. And it's not difficult once we make that commitment. So I go to the gym regularly. And when I'm at the gym and I swim, I like to swim laps. So when I'm in the pool area at the gym and attractive men are walking around with their shirts off, going to the sauna and the steam room and whatnot in that area, my eyes are down. And I can tell in my periphery, it's a tough word sometimes, in my periphery, I can tell if an attractive man or a muscular man is walking by and it's like, nope, not even looking. I do that out of respect for my husband. I also do it out of respect for myself, of the kind of person that I want to be. And when we got married, we gave up looking at other attractive people. That's something that we sacrifice, that we commit to our spouse to be the apple of our eye. And it's really just a matter of good character. And thinking about this, as I was thinking about this question and what other women might say, and it is without the perspective that I teach, is that other women might say, there's no harm in looking, and that this man is being controlling and a narcissist. And then a woman would say, well, give me a break. Men always look at other women. This is just a double standard. He's allowed to look at other women, but I'm not. And that this just shows his insecurities and weakness as a man. It shouldn't bother him. It's innocent. And it's very likely a therapist would say the same thing. It's sort of like, my body, my choice, like my eyes, my choice. But it's really a matter of character and integrity. And a good man treated well and kindly, and his makeup as a good man has morals and values, is in control of his desires and looking at other attractive women walking by, or that they work with, or that they know that they want to be in control of that, because they love and adore their wives and aren't interested in being with another woman unless they are vulnerable to that and how they are being treated by us in the marriage. So that's a simple kind of answer and response to that question. And where this really leads us now is that I wanted to take this as an opportunity to take a deeper dive into talking about respect in a marriage, specifically the respect or disrespect that we show our husbands as women in a marriage. And the reason this is such an important topic is that respect is in the top 3 things that are most important to a man in a marriage, with the other 2 being regular and engaged sex and affection as playful touch. And you can check out my video, 3 Ways a Man Feels Loved in a Marriage, where I go in depth into that. And so that's why this is a really important topic, whereas respect might not be something in our top 10 of what's important to us in a marriage as a woman. It's not how we would word what's important to us. But to a good man, respect is really, really important. And this is a topic that, I don't want to put this, probably like 7-8 years ago, I knew respect was important to my husband, but I couldn't really define or articulate what that was. I knew I was disrespectful to him and could see some of those things, but it was a hard concept to really grasp and put my head around in terms of what does that look like, and what does that really truly mean to a man. And over time, that has become something, as I shared in that video of 3 Ways a Man Feels Loved in a Marriage. Respect is an area that I do pretty well in. Of course, always areas of improvement, but it's something that I have worked on and now can put some words in depth around it and where we're going today. The next place I want to talk about is why we are so disrespectful as women, and helping men to see this and understand what's happening in your marriage, but also speaking to the women as a red pill moment to understand respect versus disrespect and why it is so important in your marriage, and understanding if you know you are a woman who is disrespectful to your husband, it's really important to understand the why, because that's where it's coming from. So there's two main reasons as women that we are so disrespectful in a marriage to a man. And the first reason is that we live in Camp Victim. So living in Camp Victim, we blame our husbands for our unhappiness. We blame our husbands for the problems in the marriage. And from Camp Victim, it creates a lens, a negative lens of which we view our husbands. Always focused on what they're doing wrong, always focused on their shortcomings and flaws, focused on how we believe they are wrong and conduct themselves wrong. And we can only see them through that negative lens, because that's the reality, the false reality that living in Camp Victim creates for us as women in our marriages. So that's one reason that we are so disrespectful, is in Camp Victim, constantly blaming them. We only have a negative lens that we view our husbands through. The second reason that we are so disrespectful to our husbands is emasculation. The process of weakening our husbands, stripping them of their sense of being a man in the relationship by constantly making them wrong and bad. We emasculate them through the ways in which we are disrespectful, that strips away their sense of being a man. Through that emasculation, we create our husbands to be what we see as a weak, empathetic man. And through that, which we create through the emasculation, we see that there is nothing there to respect, which is our own doing through that woman way of emasculation. And I want to invite the women and men watching to watch an earlier video that I did on 10 ways to know your wife is emasculating you. That's an important video to understand the myriad of ways that we emasculate in a marriage as a woman. So those are the two main reasons that we are so disrespectful. One, we live in Camp Victim. And two, through the emasculation, we strip away anything to respect about our husbands and our treatment of them. I'm going to take a sip of water, and then we're going to go to the next section. So the next place that I want to go in talking about disrespect in a marriage, because, well, the next place I want to go is really helping you understand, for both women and for good men, helping you understand what respect really is and defining respect. And the reason is it's really important to understand that a healthy relationship, a healthy marriage, requires respect. It is foundational. And once you know what respect actually is, you can realize how cruel and destructive disrespect really is. So for the women listening, by understanding what respect is, this is a red pill moment to realize how cruel and destructive your disrespect to your husband really is. This can wake us up to see how we're showing up, the ways we're treating our husbands, that in that red pill moment of seeing the reality of ourselves can push us toward change. For the good men listening, I want you to know what respect truly is so that you understand how emotionally painful and destructive your wife's disrespect of you is to you. And then talking about what you want to do, because you can't make your wife respect you. You cannot make your wife respect you, but you can understand what respect is. Understand as a good man and the qualities of who you are deserves respect. And then what you need to do so you're not giving that power away to your wife and how she disrespects you. So there's 3 definitions of respect that I want to share because they're all really important and they all fit together really well to give a full picture and meaning to the word respect. The first definition of respect that I want you to know is that respect is a feeling of deep admiration for someone by their abilities, qualities, and achievements. The first definition of respect. Respect is a feeling of deep admiration for someone by their abilities, qualities, and achievements. The second definition of respect. Respect is a regard for the feelings, wishes, and rights of another. Respect is a regard for the feelings, wishes, and rights of another. And the third definition of respect. Respect is a feeling and understanding that someone is important and serious and deserves appropriate treatment and regard. The third definition of respect. Respect is a feeling and understanding that someone is important and serious and deserves appropriate treatment and regard. So a good man by nature who is thoughtful, loving, caring, wants nothing more than his wife to be happy, will go through thick and thin to try to make his wife happy, is hardworking, wants what's best for his family, sacrifices himself for what's best for the family, is deserving of respect. That a good man by nature is deserving of deep admiration for their abilities, qualities, and achievements. That a good man by nature deserves to be regarded for his feelings, wishes, and rights as a human being. That a good man by nature is deserving of being understood as someone who is important and serious and deserves appropriate treatment and regard. And so for the women listening, just as I have had to see, when we create the negative lens of our husbands through living in camp victim, we strip away respect for them, which sucks all the good out of who they are and deteriorates them. And we blind ourselves from seeing the depth of respect that our husbands are deserving of. And for the good men listening, when you understand what respect is and can see through the emasculation, the gaslighting, the manipulation, the coldness, the withholding of sex, the withholding of affection, the withholding of care and respect, and how cruel that is when you are someone who's deserving of respect. This is why retiring from making your wife happy is so important. It doesn't mean you stop being a good man. It doesn't mean you're disrespectful to her. But retiring from making your wife happy is retiring from bending over backward, overcompensating, jumping through hoops, pouring your energy into someone who is disrespectful when you are deserving of respect. That once you know what respect is and realize how disrespected you are by your wife, why would you bend over backward and jump through hoops and pour your energy into someone who is so disrespectful? She's not deserving of you doing everything you can to make her happy and how she treats you. And that's why it's so important to retire from trying to make her happy, and you'll still be a good man. You're still going to be a good husband, but no longer cater to the laundry list of things she says you need to change for her to be happy that will never make her happy. And she will continue to disrespect you. So this is seeing, by understanding what respect is, this is seeing the status in reality of your relationship. And for good men, seeing that you are constantly doing things in the relationship that should be respected and valued because your number one priority is to make her happy. And you can see all the things you do as a good man, a good husband, a good dad that are deserving of respect and value that get tossed out the window, unacknowledged, unappreciated by your wife and her disrespect. And for women, for us to know that when we are showing up so disrespectful and depriving our husbands of a basic human right and who they are as good men, stripping them of that basic right of respect, then we can see how we are the problem in the relationship and the ways he's reacting or withdrawing from the relationship as a response to our disrespect. And where I want to go next in this, whoa, hold on, my papers are mixed up. There we go. Where I want to go next in this, now that we understand what respect is and how cruel and destructive disrespect is looking at 7 surefire ways to know your marriage is headed toward divorce. 7 surefire ways to know your marriage is headed toward divorce. And the reason that I am titling that the video this is that this is a list about how as women we disrespect our husbands. So 7 very disrespectful behaviors we have towards our husbands in a marriage. And to recognize if you're disrespecting your husband in these ways, you are sucking all the goodness out of who he is as a good man. And these are all ones that I have had to see in myself so that I could be able to change. And that's the purpose of this for women, is to be able to see how you are disrespecting your husband so that you have the self-awareness and can change these things. And for good men, this is a checklist. If these things are happening in your marriage, then you can know the reality of the relationship and understanding that respect is foundational to a healthy marriage. So if these 7 things or any of these 7 things are happening, the foundation of it being a healthy marriage is gone and it's falling apart. And you can't control your wife to respect you, but by seeing these behaviors and how disrespectful they are, it gives you a path to take your power back. And I want to go over again just the 3 definitions of respect to see this is how we should be treating our husbands, what we should be giving them when respect is one of the top 3 things that is most important to them, because then it really highlights how disrespectful these behaviors are. So the first definition of respect is a feeling of deep admiration for someone based on their abilities, qualities, and achievements. The second definition of respect that you need to know is respect is a regard for the feelings, wishes, and rights of another. And the third definition of respect you need to know is respect is a feeling and understanding that someone is important, serious, and deserves appropriate treatment and regard. And in being married to a good man, he is deserving of respect by nature for who he is. So before we get into the list of 7, just a reminder to subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the wonderful content that I get out to help you in your marriage. And please like this video so that it helps the algorithm to reach more people and get the message out to more people. So number 1 in 7 surefire ways to know your marriage is headed toward divorce based on the disrespect that we show as women to our husbands. Number 1 is parenting, not allowing your husband to be a man as a dad. And this is disrespectful because being a good dad is really important to a good man. And while not perfect, because none of us are, it is something that is natural to a good man to be a good dad and to be a good parent. So as women, when we don't allow our husbands as dads, to allow him to be a firm parent and give consequences, we undermine our husbands and make them out to be bad parents. So men tend to be, as dads, they tend to be more consequence and punishment based because they want to instill responsibility and accountability to their kids, and they want to teach them about life and how life works. Whereas women, as mothers, we tend to be softer in parenting styles and coddle our children, and our helicopter moms wanting to protect them from the pains and hurts of life. Whereas good men know that the pains and hurts of life build resilience and strength in the face of life's challenges, that it's important. We can't go through life without the pains and hurts of life. So that's number 1. The second surefire way to know your marriage is headed toward divorce because of the disrespect we show as women. Number 2 is, as women, we have a feminist perspective where roles and responsibilities in a marriage are considered old-fashioned and outdated. That is, women, when we subscribe to the feminist perspective, we feel that we have the right to be independent and do not feel a responsibility to the relationship as a partnership of compromise and being value driven. And this is disrespectful to our husbands as a man, because we take away and wanting there to be no division of roles or responsibilities, or that we don't have responsibility as wives and everything should be equal. It's disrespectful because we take away our husband's role in being the man of the house, because we want everything equal. And that's part of how a man feels respected. And his role in the family is being the leader and leading the family and being the man of the house. But as women, we feel entitled from that feminist perspective to wear the pants in the house. And number three, the third way we are disrespectful that will push a marriage to divorce, number 3 is being Mrs. Always Right. And this is disrespectful when we have the need as women to always be right, that it's our way or the highway, that we know what's best, that we have final say on the choices of what's happening in the family or the relationship, or we judge our husbands for how they conduct themselves in their own lives and their own choices and decisions. It's disrespectful to our husbands because it takes away their opinions and what they feel is best and right for the family. And when we are Mrs. Always Right, it also takes away his own personal agency to conduct himself in the ways that he feels is best and right for him. And it's also disrespectful because good men are pragmatic. They thrive in being problem solvers and seeing the big picture and seeing what's best for the family. That they're natural in leading themselves, us, the family, into a healthy, responsible future. And in that leading of the family, and that leading of himself, it's again how he feels like a man, which then he can thrive and be his best, which we get the benefit of. But when we are always right, it undermines him and it takes away his ability to lead and guide us as a man. And we want to understand that good men want what's best for the family, and they will sacrifice their own needs and desires readily and easily to benefit the family or to benefit us. They will go to great lengths to sacrifice their own needs and desires to do what's right and best for the whole. It's just part of who they are. And the fourth way that we are disrespectful to our husbands that will push the marriage in the direction of a divorce, number 4, bringing up past mistakes and keeping a Rolodex of hurts. When we are constantly pulling out and dredging up the past and what our husbands have done that we feel have wronged us or hurt us, it is disrespectful because good men acknowledge that they make mistakes and they try to correct them. They try to overcompensate for the mistakes they've made to make up for them. And they are the first to admit that they are not perfect, that they have a part and role in the problems, that they have made mistakes, and they want to correct the mistakes, to atone them, and to grow and learn from them, and to be better. It's, again, just part of their nature of who they are. So it's disrespectful to a good man's honor and integrity and his desire to atone for his mistakes. The other piece in this, when we dredge up the past and keep a Rolodex of hurts in the marriage, It devalues all the good and wonderful things that our husbands do on a constant, consistent, daily basis. But all we can see are the past hurt and mistakes, and that's where we keep our focus. So we can't even acknowledge the good things that they are doing. And when we constantly bring up the past, constantly bring up the mistakes, he feels defeated and doesn't feel like a man, because all we do is continuously knock them down, not focusing on all the wonderful things they've done since that past mistake or hurt, or who they are every day and how they keep showing up and jumping through hoops for us. And number 5, the 5th way we are disrespectful to our husbands that will push a marriage toward divorce. Number 5, comparing your husband to other men. Comparing your husband to other men. So this can look like, pulling up a Facebook picture, Instagram picture of a friend. Oh, look at what so-and-so's husband did for her. Or, oh, isn't this so nice? I love that my sister's husband always does da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Or even more crushing, telling your husband who you wish you would have married and knocking him down in derogatory remarks toward him, and that you should have married your first boyfriend or whoever in your past or that you've known. I hear this often from men, that their wives tell them about who they wish they would have married, or fantasize about what their lives would have been like with another man, which sounds shocking, but it happens a lot. And this is disrespectful when we compare our husbands to other men. It is disrespectful because we are telling our husbands that they are not worthy of us and our love. And we're telling them, through comparing them to other men, we're telling them that we made a mistake in picking him. When we compare our husbands to other men, this may be the most crushing thing that we can do to our husbands' self-value. When you compare yourself or compare your husband to another man, it may be one of the most crushing things that you do to your husband's sense of self-value. And number 6 of how we disrespect our husbands that will push the marriage toward divorce. Number 6, talking behind his back to his friends, family, or his mother. So this is disrespectful because it's important to a good man to keep the issues of the marriage, of the family, behind closed doors and not disclose them to others and talk about them, or he would never go talk badly about you behind your back and complain about you. He wants to keep the issues in the marriage. So when we share the private issues with our friends, with our family, with his mother, the message we're sending our husband is that he's insignificant, and the privacy of his thoughts, actions, and feelings are ours to vent. It undermines his character, and his character is very important to him. And I'll say there's a big difference as women, how we talk about our husbands behind their back, and pardon my language, but we bitch and complain and make them the problem and paint this grotesque picture of who they are to our friends and family. Whereas if you're a woman sitting there, well, my husband asks his friend about this issue. When a good man maybe brings up an issue in the marriage to another, he's doing it because he's trying to figure it out. They're not bashing us. It's not in a good man's nature to bash his wife or to talk poorly of her and make her out to be a horrible woman. It's just not in their nature. But that's the perspective and prerogative we're taking as women when we talk about our husbands behind their back. And number seven of how as women we disrespect our husbands and push the marriage toward a divorce is being on your cell phone all the time and having social media. This is disrespectful because it sends the message to your husband that he and the life that he is creating is not important to you. And when we're on social media and have our nose in everybody else's lives, are constantly texting and in touch with 50 friends and family members, we're sending the message that everybody else's lives are better, more important, and that we don't have time for our husbands. We would rather have our head buried in our phone than to be present and engaged and spend that time with our husbands. It's also disrespectful to a man because he's a provider. And as a provider, he's trying to create a life for you. But we're too busy fantasizing about other people's lives on social media or who we're staying in touch with. That's so important. We need to always be texting and know what's going on with them. That it's very, very disrespectful. And I can also hear women saying, well, my husband's on his phone all the time. And that's where we have to look at how are we showing up and treating our husbands that they withdraw. Because I guarantee you, if you were engaged and just giving him a tenth of your love and care and affection and attention, he would want to spend time with you. We push them away to where they withdraw. And that's a part we want to look at as women. So those are the seven surefire signs that your marriage is headed to a divorce based on our disrespectful behaviors as women. And looking a little bit at the solution for women and men, first talking to the women, this is really, this video and this topic of respect and disrespect is really a red pill moment to really stop and think on those definitions of respect and where you fall in your ability to show that respect to your husband. And that to know when you're stuck and can't victim, focused on how your husband is the problem, you can't see any of the wonderful qualities and accomplishments of your husband in the marriage that are deserving of respect. So you have to move to can't take responsibility to see the ways that you are showing up disrespectful and take accountability for the effect and impact that has on the marriage so that you can begin to show your husband respect and start, instead of focusing on all the negative things, start focusing on all the wonderful qualities of him. And to really recognize, if you recognize yourself in these behaviors, I just recognized twice. If you see yourself in these behaviors, to see that you're driving your marriage toward a divorce, because respect is one of the top 3 most important things to a man to feel loved and appreciated and cared for in the marriage, and honoring that. And speaking to the men, you want to know, you didn't marry the wrong woman, you married a woman. And these are the issues and behaviors we have on a spectrum that are there as part of the growing and learning through a marriage, to see the ways you've unknowingly given your power away to your wife and not be a victim to it, but to see it so you can take your power back and rebuild your confidence and your strength. And the most important thing for a man in a marriage where you are treated disrespectfully by your wife, the most important thing is to retire from doing the things she says that will make her happy. You need to know they will never make her happy. They can't make her happy. And why would you continue to jump through those hoops and throw your energy into someone who is so disrespectful to you that when you allow her to disrespect you by continuing to try to bend over backward to do the things that make her happy, that's a way you give your power away, and she will never respect you because she sees that she can treat you however she wants. And you continue to jump through the hoops and the field goals that she keeps moving further and further away. So you want to take that energy that you've been trying to put into making your wife happy, where she only disrespects you, and put that energy back into yourself by doing the things that you enjoy, that fill your cup and allow you to rebuild yourself and have the emotional tenacity to navigate the relationship and your wife's disrespect. That even though the list was 7 surefire ways your marriage is headed toward a divorce, 90% of good men are committed to their vows, or probably more than that, 97% of good men committed to the vows that they made and their values of children and faith, that it is not an option to divorce and leave their marriage. So you have to put the energy into you so that you have the emotional tenacity to navigate these disrespectful behaviors and to take your power back. And so for the women listening who want a path to move from camp victim to camp take responsibility and outgrow your woman ways, you can find a link in the description below to check out my free Happiness 101 course through my website, and also apply for a consultation with me. And for good men who want a way to rebuild your strength and confidence and constructively take your power back from your wife as a good man in a way that works for you as a good man, you can find the link to the Marriage Rescue Course for Good Men only below and apply for a free consultation with me. And there we have it. We did it. We did it. Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. A reminder to please subscribe and like this video. And I'm going to head over to the chat for a moment. I think Phil's probably going to have some comments and questions for me. So we'll take a look at that and just, keep going for a few more minutes. So, all right. There we go. Let's see, it's catching up. Wonderful. Thank you, Phil. Phil says, question sent. Thank you so much. All right. Oh, that's really hard. Yeah. Just reading through some of this. All right. I'm going to head over to... oh, good. Thank you, Monica. Monica says this was eye-opening. Such good content and teaching. I agree, Monica. It's eye-opening to see. It's eye-opening to see those definitions of what respect really is, because we can say respect, but it's a trite word and holds no meaning if we don't really look into it. And Holly, nice to have you. Holly's another regular woman that listens and is taking this into her marriage. She said, realizing how much I've disrespected my husband is a red pill for sure. Good for you. I will try to be better for him because he definitely deserves it. Good for you, Holly. Your husband's a very, very lucky man. It is very eye-opening to see, really dive into respect and see the ways we're disrespectful, because that's the only way we can change. If we don't shine the flashlight on it, we're blind to it, and can't see it. And so that's really, really the purpose of this. All right. Mike 88GT says, I wish I had this 25 years ago. You're not alone, Mike. I hear that comment a lot. I often say that, we've find what we need when it gets presented to us, and we do the best we can until we have a new perspective. So, all right. I'm going to head over to, that looks a little, all right. Head over to the questions and comments that Phil sent. Thank you, Phil. Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I think the one, Rain Wolf. Why do some women disrespect their husband and blame the husband as if he is disrespecting her when he is not? Great question. That is the lens of camp victim. When we live in camp victim as women, and see through that negative lens and false reality that we create through that, we are what's the right word? It's like we're living in a fog and disconnected from any kind of self-awareness. There can be no self-awareness in Can't Victim because we're focused externally on what the problem is. There's no focus on ourselves or accountability toward ourselves. So in Can't Victim, we're seeing through that lens of our husband, or seeing our husband through that lens of negativity, and then also projection. That we project because we don't and are unable to see ourselves, don't want to see ourselves, don't want to be exposed for those behaviors, then we project that onto our husbands and then blame them and see that he's doing the disrespectful thing when it's actually the other way around. It's this very kind of creepy false reality that we live ourselves in that's really a delusion. And so that's where, for a good man, it's really important to see the reality of what's happening so you don't get sucked in to, it's essentially also gaslighting, that it's you doing the disrespectful behavior when it's her. And you can't make her see that, especially in the heat of the moment, because she's taken over by her emotions. She doesn't want to see it. So it's just for you to know, when you have that awareness of oh, this is her, it's not me, and you're grounded in that, then her disrespect and the emasculation and gaslighting has no effect on you. It doesn't mean it doesn't hurt, it doesn't feel good, but you can stay grounded in reality and maintain in your own control and power of yourself so that those tactics aren't working on you to wear away your own sense of self and what you know is right and true. So good question. Thank you. The good question, Mike 88 GT. So let me see how he does. So, well, this could open a can of worms, Mike. So he's with a friend who's a woman. Took me to a doctor's appointment. When I was checking out, she noticed an attractive man, me. She couldn't see my face and told me about it right away. Is this a concern? Well, you want to know that and I'm not clear on if this is just a friend or a girlfriend. If it's a friend, you want to know that she's planting seeds and getting her hooks into you. And other than that, I'm not sure which way to address that because I'm missing a little context. But yeah, good for you to be questioning it and seeing it. What does a young man do? What does a young man do with a feminist mother and her resentful tolerance of men? It's really to see the reality of his mother and accept her that that's who she is, but to teach him to be strong in his qualities of who he is, that it's up to him whether he takes in that viewpoint and perspective of men from his mother or to see the reality and have acceptance and compassion for his mother, but to not get sucked in to her beliefs. That's just part of taking responsibility. Not relevant to the show, but is your husband in your office during the show, or do you shoot him off so you can do the show? Yeah, so I come to an office, me and my team, which consists of my two mentors, David and Peggy, and then my colleague, Josie. We have an office suite that we come to for work because I am not none of us prefer to be at home working or remote working. So I'm in the office for half the day on Saturdays and then head out after the show is over. Thanks for the question. Thanks for the comment. Karen is fighting the good fight, a tremendous advocate for sincere, genuine good men. I appreciate that. Oh, good, Monica. This was eye-opening. Yep, such good content and teaching. I think I read that before. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. I'll head over back here for a moment. I'm going to wrap up. I can tell my voice has gone as far as it can go. So I'm glad that this spoke to all of you and was eye-opening. I appreciate you being here and supporting the show and helping get the message out. And I will see you guys next next Saturday and look forward to it. And I hope you all have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you next week. All right.